What's up, guys? This is Void of This Gaming, your channel for fresh Arena of Valor content. And as you might have just seen, I have done a couple of videos about heroes that I haven't played in quite a while. And when I was going through my list, I just stumbled across a hero that I did not play for almost 2 years. So it has been quite a while since Ryoma has been featured on this channel. That is because actually I play all the heroes from time to time, but Ryoma's playstyle doesn't really fit my playstyle, so we don't really have the best relationship whatsoever in the game. But I was playing a game with one of my mates here in Arena of Valor, and I just decided to give it a shot and try out how good Ryoma is. That said, if you take one of the current tier lists, and I think Doise is the only one who is updating his tier list on a constant base, Ryoma is put in the bottom tier, it being B tier with Doise, and other heroes accompanying Ryoma are, for example, Astrid or Allain in this bottom tier. So we're going to find out if he is better or worse than Allain. But to put it mildly, I'm not the best Ryoma player in the world, and therefore don't expect anything crazy on him. Most of the times I'm happy if we can win this, and that is the goal that I set myself whenever I play Ryoma. That said, let's have a quick glimpse on the build that I've been playing. So it's mainly focusing on damage. We have two items which are more sorts of utility with the Mail of Pain and the Blade of Eternity. Ryoma is supposed to be more sorts of an assassin. He doesn't have the super bruiser warrior capabilities that other heroes have in the solo lane. Therefore, you need to kind of be really precise about what fights you pick when you are going to enter, and yeah, I'm not really that kind of guy. I like to go in without any questions asked and just deal damage and be completely all over the place, and Ryoma is not this method. So if you take, for example, someone like Malok or Ardwin or some other really good solo laner who are more sorts of a hammer, Ryoma is more sort of a scalpel, whatever. So you need to be super precise. You want to deal damage to a certain point, and that's going to be your goal and your winning condition in order to be effective with him. So enchantment wise, as you can see, I'm building it around Curse of the Death. I think that's actually quite suitable because we have a lot of attacks, especially when we unleash our ult with Deadly Claw and Devour. We've got damage on the one hand and some sustainability on the other hand. And then it's rounded up with Enhanced Restore and Gunslinger, which is actually quite some stable build. You can see that on Volkov, for example, as well. Okay, now wise I'm going with a pretty standard build with 10 times Onslaught, 10 times Assassinate, and 10 times Skewer. And with Execution, that's basically, or Execute, that's basically the stuff that you guys are going to see in the upcoming videos. So like it, comment it, share it, and subscribe to it, and everything is going to be fine. So thanks for watching the intro. Now let's get to the real part and start off with some actually quite short gameplay. Alright, here we go, and as you guys might notice, I'm fighting with Kraden, who is going to play Thane in this match. And from the setup, I would say we've got a pretty decent one. Nekroth is one of the best junglers right now, so basically he's S tier. Dirac isn't, he's basically bottom tier. Caphany is S tier again. Thane is S tier again, so we've got pretty good chances to win this game. On the other hand, we're fighting a fight against Aya and Telenas, both S tier, I would say. Yue is really, really good in the mage position right now as well. And I'm fighting against Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman can actually be quite beefy, so she's got a lot of health. She's got good utility to counter my plays. especially because she has an inbuilt heal with her auto attacks that are going to change one of her smashes into the shield bash, and that's going to give her nice sustain against my attacks. So Ryoma is at the beginning of the game more on the poking side, and then right after you unleash level 4, you can be actually quite deadly by using some of your skills in order to be more some sort of assassin. But at the beginning of this, I was just playing kind of the clearing game, trying to get to the minions as fast as possible. So Wonder Woman has already killed the wildling here in the river, which is pretty unfortunate because I assumed that this is going to happen. But with Ryoma, you got basically good measures to counter this because you got really good range on your spells, especially if that lance dash is upgraded. I was just jumping into the wrong direction. That's what I said. I think his controls are actually quite quirky, and it doesn't really make that much sense that you need to pull back in the opposing direction that you want to jump to, but it is the way it is, and you can't change it. But I just think it feels quite unnatural. Look at that. Perfect example on how not to use it. But it doesn't really matter. So I would say from the team composition, we're basically even. Enemy got a pretty strong matchup in the duo lane as well as we do. They've got a really good matchup when it comes to the mid lane composition wise, and the only good thing that I can bring to the fight right now is that Ryoma is actually really mobile. He's got a stun, he's got a movement buff that is going to change into a second one if you hit with your initial ability, but that alone is not going to help you, and it's going to show in the later stages of the game. Oh yeah, and the enemy has Wukong in the jungle, but I think Wukong is basically no match for Nekroth if Nekroth is played correctly. So all in all, I would assume it comes to the initial skill level of all the different players. Here we go. That's what I said. Nekroth is just taking Nekroth is just taking those people with no problem at all. Here's the stun. The stun makes me, or gives me the chance to just jump out of her stuff. But the problem with Wonder Woman right now is that I don't really have any measures of dealing great damage because she's got really good sustain. And the problem is that with that is that I'm more sort of a poke hero at the beginning of this stage, and I can't really do anything against her. So she can just sit under the tower, farm the minions, and I don't really have much to do in the laning phase. If it comes to the teamfight section, things are going to be a little bit better. But you can just tell from my really bad movement that I'm not really that familiar with Ryoma. I play him so little that I usually want to jump straight into the direction instead of pulling the trigger back into the different direction. Good call so far is that my team is doing a good job, so this is not about my performance, it's more about the team performance. And to give you a good example on how bad Ryoma is, if you don't really know how to play him. So in this scene, I was super lucky that Wonder Woman did not finish me off, because she had all the time in the world and all the measures to do so, because I jumped my first ability. I did not land my stun, and Ryoma is good when you can make that mobility and all the stuns work. If not, this champion is just going to be even worse than the tier lists tell you. So right now, I'm not really doing a good job here. 0-2 is of course not a result that you guys should be happy with, and just because Thane was here guarding that tower, we made the first entrance on our lane. But as Wonder Woman has already pushed her tower, we just kind of got into break even here without doing anything fancy. So now we need to be a little bit careful. As I'm having Thane around, I was a little bit more confident about all those fights, but unfortunately Talentas is always there and bringing Aya to the fight as well, so this is something that needs to be addressed. But all in all, I think that team fight was played really, really well, and we could repel. We were able to repel this champion back. We do get an assist on here, but I think it's time to go home right now and not do any crazy things. But I decided to go for the owl here, trying to do some movement shenanigans, which doesn't really look that cool on screen. And now it's time to get back and get home for me as well. While I wasn't really performing so great in this video so far. But as you guys know, this is not a channel for just kind of completely going crazy about yourselves. I think there were really, really bad mechanical issues when it comes to playing Ryoma from my side, especially in the laning phase against Wonder Woman. I think at the beginning of the game it would have been a lot more necessary to really harass her and be more offensive to kind of get some advantage over her and try to dominate her. At least that is my impression that I got from watching Ryoma's play against me. With Ryoma, it's really important to be there right from the start and put some pressure on the lane, because that makes your off-laning phase in the mid-game so much easier. But it's something that you need to use consequently, and if that's not going to take place, I think you're going to have a hard time. At least that is what I was experiencing so far when I was playing Ryoma. So here we go, a lot of dashes, 3 players against me. There's not really that much that I can do against it, besides not being so pushy when my team is not going to be a backup and standing next to the enemy tower next to the core. So that was well deserved. Is it going to teach me a lesson? I don't think so. But all in all, my team is about to win the game. You can see how confused I was because I did not build my boots to the fullest. I'm still sitting on level 1 boots, not building them up to Gilded Greaves. It's not going to have a crazy effect, but at least it would have given me some resistance against crowd control, and I did not build it, so that was actually a really bad beginner's mistake. But I don't know what was going on that day. Maybe work was crazy. I was busy with other things in my mind, and sometimes things like that just don't connect. So at least I saved my cacophony here. But now I'm dead, and Nekroth is going to take the second tower next to the core. Oh no, unfortunately he isn't. So he was overextending a little bit as well, but it doesn't really matter because, as you can see, we're doing a good job on pushing the lanes. 20 versus 9, so our team is doing good, and now it's just a question of time. Who is going to have that focus that you need to win the game? Is it going to be the enemy team because they're trying to come back? Or are we getting that one team fight that's going to decide if this game is a win or a loss? Usually it boils down to that. It's this one crazy team fight. Wukong is dead right now, so that's an important thing to master. Now we're all over the place when it comes to take down the Abyssal Dragon, so nice team coordination here, but I mean, everyone was just right into place, so that totally made sense, and I think that Wonder Woman was not really paying any attention to the game. So now Yue is dead, and the only characters or the only heroes standing between us and the win are Caphane, are Telenas and Aya, and now we've got all the great measures. Unfortunately, I did not hit the first hit, but the second hit was important. So now she is dead, and with the minion wave arriving, we've got all the time in the world to put consecutive damage on that tower, and I think that was the only good scene so far, but I think that scene was important, and it just means that we won the game. So yes, I know my performance was not only questionable, but it was really, really bad, but it gave me a lot of codex points, so I'm fine with that. But 5.9, that's usually my average experience on Ryoma. I don't really like the champion. 144, that's a disaster. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's gameplay with me not being so super serious about myself. I just wanted to bring you this game because it just shows, even if you're not doing crazy, one good scene can help your team to win the game, and you should still focus and concentrate and maintain your presence in the game. That was the lesson that I wanted to teach you today. So thanks for watching, and bye-bye. Have a nice evening.